and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Lots to cover. Let's get to it. Newsmax has actually beat CNN. On Friday night, CNN fell to fourth place in total primetime viewership, drawing an overall audience of 335,000 compared to Newsmax's 357. Unbelievable. Guess what? Kathy Griffin. She's had posted a picture of not her, but Jack Smith holding the severed head of Donald Trump. What a whack job. Look at her. Goofball. All right, Nikki Haley has signed the pledge. You know, she's going to support whoever the Republican is. Although she says that she scratched out Biden's name and put Kamala Harris. Guess what, Nikki, you're not going to have to worry about your pledge. Well, actually, you are, because you're going to lose. Ukraine advisor photo. See this guy right here talking to Biden? You know where that is? This was released by the House Republicans. That's Joe Biden talking to his Ukrainian advisor in the blue shirt there on the way to talk to the Ukrainians on December 6th, the infamous day where he said, you got 6 hours to decide whether you're going to fire that prosecutor and get the $1 billion. That same advisor, guess who else he was advising? Hunter Biden and Burisma. Unbelievable. It's never enough, though. It's never enough. 50,000 suicides. It's the most suicides in this country ever. How sad is that? How sad is that? And it is a reflection of, what's so funny is, it's a reflection of the opposite of what the left will try to claim that's causing this. It is a reflection of brokenness. What leads to brokenness? Hopelessness. What leads to that? You don't have God in your life. You don't have family in your life. You don't have friends in your life. You don't have a job. You don't have purpose. That leads to brokenness. Now, there's all kinds of other reasons, too. You know, a veteran's got post-traumatic stress disorder. But, that's what's causing it. Joe Biden wants more Ukrainian money. He says, hey, we need some more money to send over to Ukraine. And again, it's never audited. I used to always be a cynic about this, but I'm not anymore. I have no doubt that this money that we send to places like Ukraine goes through channels and ends up back in the pockets of our politicians. Our politicians have become third world kind of politicians. Sad, but it's the truth. You know, this is scary. Hawaii had fires. I mean, it's wiped out a whole village. I think the death toll was up to 58, but there's 1,000 people missing. I mean, it's scary stuff. I mean, like the whole village. Maui, woo. Odell Beckham went to see Sounds of Freedom, and he said, wow, that's heavy. He tweeted out, he said, man, pretty interesting. You see, you hear me say this all the time. This is how America changes. When people like Odell Beckham, watch that and agree like we agree with it. That's what happens. It's like Morgan Freeman says. You stop talking about race. Trump was not in court yesterday on the amended charges. Didn't have to. A lawyer could have been there for him. Nada, who is his assistant, and Oliveira, who's the groundskeeper of Mar-a-Lago, so to speak, both the facilities, both pled not guilty. This Ecuadorian right here was a leading challenger. He was anti-socialist, anti-communist, was murdered. That's the way it goes in a third world country. Coming soon to the United States. By the way, speaking of Slain, that Chris Robertson guy that got shot and killed, apparently was an old guy, could hardly get around, took care of his blind son. I can't wait for all the details to come out about why they shot Chris Robertson. He's the guy that posted a comment about brushing off his sniper rifle when Biden went to Idaho. By the way, there was no way this guy could go where he was to Idaho. And with all due respect, I'll go ahead and tell you this, FBI. I see comments like that all the time on social media that people make. All the time. Are you knocking on all their doors? Shooting them? $6 billion ransom to Iran. And you know what they said? No, this isn't paying ransom. We're letting them have access to assets that they weren't otherwise have access to. Let the kidnapping continue. Hobbs, the elected, quote-unquote, governor of Arizona, who beat Kari Lake, has now been found to notifying Twitter, this was pre-Musk days, asking them to control better the posts of neo-Nazi Trump supporters. Don't you wish you had the power to contact these folks and tell them how you wanted things done? I don't, do you? Woody Harrelson, love Woody. There he is with Cheryl Hines, RFK Jr.'s wife. Woody has endorsed RFK Jr. Will he ever work in Hollywood again? We'll have to see. Purdue Pharma, the United States Supreme Court has put a pause on the Purdue Pharma settlement, $6 billion, I think, because they don't think the Sacklers maybe should have some personal responsibility. It'll be interesting. Ron DeSantis is now third behind Vivek Ramaswamy. Wow. By the way, just so you know, it's over for Ron DeSantis. It's been over now. There's nothing that's going to flip the switch and cause him to propel himself. Have they not figured it out yet? The Trump voters are locked in. They ain't going anywhere. In fact, they're going up. They're going up. And all these people are in this game for all ulterior motives. He needs to drop out. He needs to drop out and save his money. You know what? DeSantis could save his political career, national political career, one way. And it would be wild if he did it. And this is what he needs to do. Now, drop out and endorse Trump. You know what Trump would say? Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. And guess what DeSantis does? He saves that whole Trump block of voters for himself in the future. He needs to do it now. Folks, I know my politics. Gold star for families. This woman testified in front of Congress, and she lost her son in the Afghanistan withdrawal. She's one of the 13 widows, widowers, whatever, lost their kids. And it's just unbelievable how they've been treated, how they've been ignored by the Biden administration. It's sad. Donald Trump calls Bill Barr a coward for not prosecuting his enemies. Amen. Remember my pet beef with him? He took the 1023 form that was like off the charts earthquake, and he just sends it to Wise in Delaware. You know what he is? Bill Barr's a big, fat, lazy slob bushy who talks calm so CNN will interview him. Texas racist teacher, you know what she said? She got fired for criticizing her sister dating a white guy. She says she likes being a racist. Can you imagine if a white person said, I like being a white supremacist? There's 4 cities in California that kids are the rudest. Now, how do they check this out, folks? I do not know. I do not know. But I want to share this with you. The cities are San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Jose. 4 of the rudest little kids in the country. One of the sailors that was selling secrets to China, not a U.S. citizen. It's okay. We let all our spies become soldiers. James Comer said he's going to subpoena the Biden family members. You know, James Comer's got some Kentucky common sense to him. You know, James Comer said, he said, how do you explain Joe Biden's granddaughter getting money? This ought to be a cut. How do you explain Joe Biden's granddaughter, little girl, getting a wire transfer from Romania? On Gutfeld last night. By the way, let me tell you what I do. I work really, really late at night, and I end up watching all those shows, like sometimes in the middle of it on their reruns. This is great. On Gutfeld, he put a picture of a little Navy up there. You know, the stripper daughter that they didn't recognize. And they said they didn't recognize Navy, Sabrina, because they didn't want the little squirt to get her cut. That was so goddamn funny. Oh, shoot. All right, allegedly, Jared and Ivanka. Ooh, things are going good. They went back in Trump campaign political world. Now, by the way, you never know what goes on behind the doors of family. You just don't. You don't. My family, your family, you just don't know all the facts, all the things. We don't know if Ivanka and Jared's step away from President Trump was with the blessing of President Trump, or they shirked President Trump. You just don't know. You just don't know what the circumstances are. I hope this doesn't get me in trouble with Trump world. The only person in Trump world I don't care for is Ivanka. There's just something about her. I think she's snooty. Junior, Eric, even Tiffany, who I've never met, just seem down to earth. Ivanka seems snooty. And, sorry, I got a problem with Jared Kushner. Now, by the way, Comer got hit with that, and he explained it. He said, wait a minute, what Kushner did was after he was out of office. And he does have a legitimate business. That is different than Hunter Biden, the crackhead getting millions of dollars. But it does bother me that he got his fund from the Saudis for $2 billion after he left. Bothers me. It bothers me. So those, I don't really care for them. I hope they stay out. Trump said there wasn't going to be a role for them in the future. And Jared gave him lots of bad advice. Remember, all the advice that came from Ivanka and Jared was moderation. They wanted to give in, and that's always a mistake. If you ever play tennis, you got to be on the back, on the baseline, or at the net. You play in the middle, you lose. And thus it is in politics, too. Trump made a joke that maybe the Georgia lady's going to change her mind. We'll see. Can't make this up. My last topic, O.J. Simpson weighed in on the Ruggs. Ruggs is the Alabama football player playing for the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, who was driving like 140 miles per hour, hit a woman, killed her and her kid. He was sentenced to 4 to 10 years. O.J. weighed in on it and said it was not punishment enough. O.J.'s got nerve, doesn't he? This is the Bulldog. Every dog has her day. You have a great weekend.